Welcome to another episode of Financial Talk Friday. Welcome. Come on in and join me. I'm here every Friday at 2 p.m. Just kind of sharing some money mindset knowledge in hopes that I could help you with your mindset when it comes to money. This is Becoming a Being. And becoming a being is all about helping you heal from your past so that you can walk in your purpose and live an abundant life. And as part of that, we work on your emotional healing and the changing of your mindset as well as your spirit. All right. Finding that inner God, that inner power within you. But as part of our being, we have to know that our finances impact our well-being. And our mental and emotional, it impacts our finances impact our mental and emotional. So that's why here on Fridays we have this talk about your financial well-being and how it relates to your mental and emotional. And today we're going to talk about financial identities. All right, but before we get started, if you are watching this on Facebook Live, go ahead and like and share this video. And if you're watching this on YouTube on the replay, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All right. And so I thank you. I enjoyed this. This is 2021, y'all. Second episode of 2021. I'm so glad to, do this. I had thought about not doing this anymore, but I enjoy it. I enjoy talking about how our mind and our emotions and our money all collide. All right. And so today is really about financial identity and how, we can tell from how we handle money, how it ties into our identity. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. All right. So how you handle money is directly tied to your identity. It really is. Our identity and who we are, our core of who we are, which is our mental, our emotions, our spiritual, that's our core. It all relates to how we think about money, how we see money, and how we use money. So your mentality and your emotions impact your finances, and your finances impact your core. If your core is not whole and healthy, then you may very well be making financial decisions based on your emotions, all right, and or your mental immaturity, rather than from a place of wholeness, spiritual wisdom, and financial literacy education. If you want to fix your financial situation and fix the financial area of your life, you have to fix your mental, your emotional, and spiritual well being, because your financial mentality is directly related to the core of who you are. All right, the core of who you are, how you think about money, how you see money, it all comes from your mental, which is part of your identity. So, what is your financial personality? What is your mentality, your characteristics or traits as it relates to money? Our identity and who we are is a direct result of our upbringing, our education, culture, our environment. So it's no wonder our financial identity is shaped and molded by the same, right? So many times how we think about money, how we handle money, it's a direct result of our upbringing. It starts with our parents, it continues on with our environment and where you were raised. Church impacts our mentality and how we see money and how we deal with money, as well as we are not being properly taught how to handle money. And we make decisions based off what we think we know. A lack of education can cause you to make decisions out of your emotions. And that's why we find a lot of people who buy things they don't need, just what they want. All right. So let's just say you need to get a car so you can get to work, but your emotions make you want to buy that most expensive car on the lot that your salary says you can't afford. But you want to look good. It's status. You get attention and compliments. And that feeds what your brokenness seeks. Okay. You have to ask yourself, why? Why do I need the attention from people who really don't care what car I'm driving? Or why do I need validation from people who can't or shouldn't really even validate me? It's the reason behind your money decisions that magnify just how healthy and mature you are mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So, see, the whole healthy core of you could care less what others think. You're not worried about pleasing others, getting their approval, or looking for them to validate who you are. You know who you are. But a broken core seeks the attention, likes, and validation from others. So if at the core of you, you are broken, you'll make unfavorable decisions out of your brokenness and pain. So, what is your financial identity? What does financial identity say about how you handle money? What does your identity say about how you see money? Your inherent traits about money may not change. All right. So, for example, if you're not a risk taker, then you won't be a risk taker with your money. That means you'll always look for safe money management strategies and approaches for your money. You just have to know you're not a risk taker so you don't make up so that you make appropriate decisions that fits who you are. So then what is your financial personality? Are you a spender or a saver? Are you a risk taker or not a risk taker? Are you independent worker or are you fine with working for someone else? What financial being is showing up in your relationships? All right. Your financial identity impacts your friendships and relationships, and it can make or break it, right? If you're always borrowing money, your friend can grow weary and tired of you asking them for money and choose to end the relationship just to avoid telling you no. That's not a healthy response, but it could happen. I mean, they should be honest and be able to come to you and say, and have that conversation. But some people don't, and they'll just in the relationship cut you off. Your financial identity can cause marital woes. You're a spender. Your spouse is a saver. He or she can't get. They can get frustrated with you trying to spend up all the money. All right. Or perhaps you're a risk taker and you have an entrepreneurial spirit or nature, and your spouse is not, and he or she can't, they're just not supportive of your dream. And that can be very discouraging. So, some of us have an innate nature for handling money properly. Some of us do not, and we get our bad habits from our parents, our culture, and our environment. But take some time to determine, who are you? How are you showing up in your financial life, and what nature of a thing you need to unbecome that is negatively impacting your financial being? What mentality was passed on to you concerning money that you need to let go of? And just because someone grew up with money, it doesn't mean they know how to properly handle money. There are plenty of people who came from wealthy families that are spoiled, all right, and got everything they wanted, and therefore their upbringing unsuspectedly produced a mentality and emotions of greediness. The mentality and emotion of greed led them to committing heinous acts for the love of money. Now that's extreme, but it happens. But for most people, if you grow up wealthy, your financial mentality more than likely is built around wealth building and putting your money to work for you. If your upbringing was poverty stricken, then your mentality could have very well resulted in government or people reliance, and you just can't conceive how to take that little bit and have it grow. Now that's not everybody. There's always exceptions to the rule, but in generality, that's what happens. So what I want to do is, let's take a look at some traits that can be indicators of your financial identity. Now, when I teach people about how to gain a sense of self, we look and we write down characteristics that describe that the type of person they are. And in looking at that list, some descriptors give insight into how you would view and handle money. And these are just a few that gives insight into your course. So let me go ahead and, oh, I've already been sharing my screen. Y'all, I'm just not good with this technology. Y'all was supposed to just see me and then see the screen, but that's all right. Crazy, crazy. All right. So some descriptors are obvious. Can you all see this? Let me make this a little bit bigger for you. Some descriptors are obvious indicators, while some may not necessarily jump out at you, like optimistic and pessimistic. How does being optimistic or pessimistic give insight into your financial identity? Well, if you're pessimistic, you'll find it hard to see past your reality and focus on the truth of what it could be. All of you, all I'm studying over myself. I'm sorry. All you're going to do is look at what is in your bank account and say, this is all I have. I can't do it. I want that, but I can't do it. Therefore, if you need money and you do not have it, you'll be more concerned about what you don't have than trying to figure out how to get what you need. You'll be more prone to saying you can't do rather than thinking about the possibilities of how you can. But on the other hand, an optimistic person is going to be trying to figure out how they can do it, telling themselves, I'm going to get that. I'm going to find a way. And so let's look at honesty and trustworthy. If you're honest and trustworthy, then you're not likely to be a thief, right? I would hope not. And therefore, your employer wouldn't have to worry about your cash register being short, right? And you don't have to worry about you skimming off the top and stealing their money. Let's go back to the risk taker example. If your risk taker is on your list, what does that say about your financial mentality? A risk taker might be one who's into wealth building. They invest their money in stocks and bonds and real estate or their own business. A risk taker is going to be willing to put it out there and try to grow their money. If you're afraid, instead of being fearless, you might hoard the money. Every little bit you get because you are afraid of losing it. And because you hoard, you start being stingy and don't want to spend a dollar compared to a risk taker who's fearless and they're all in. One might think someone is generous and they might say, oh, they're a good steward of money. Yes, God tell us to be givers and millionaires tell you to share and giving increases your money. However, are we giving out of a generous heart? Or are we giving out of anxiety? Are we giving for some motive other than I'm a true giver, like my Father in heaven? Some people give to be seen and look good. They give to the appearance of financial success where there isn't any success. Okay? So people are generous, but again, we've got to look at the core, that motive behind what is causing that, the handling of how they're handling that money. If you're dependable on your list, are you dependable with your money? Do you pay your bills? And do you pay them on time? Are you like you're supposed to? When you owe something, do you pay what you owe? Can somebody depend on you that when you borrow money, will you pay it back? You're talking about you're dependable, but you don't pay your debts. Something's not right there because your core and who you are or who you say you are is not aligning with your financial decisions. So if you're a dependable person, then someone should be able to depend that if they borrow you or lend you money, that you are going to pay them back. And I'm not saying that, not paying your bills is not a direct reflection of always a direct reflection of who you are, especially if you're experiencing a financial hardship. It's not an indication of dependable, but if you can't pay them, what do? Are you calling them back to let them know that you have this hardship and why you're unable to pay? Are we communicating that? I mean, that says a lot about who you are. Or are you dodging their calls? Don't fool yourself, okay? And be honest about your financial identity and dig deep into why you think or behave a certain way. These indicators are not a full list, but think about how you describe yourself and ask yourself, does it align with my money decisions? If they don't align, you're lying to yourself somewhere about who you really are. Don't tell me you're ambitious, but you're not willing to put up the money to make your business grow. That's not ambitious. If you are ambitious, you're going all in. And if there are parts of you that are not aligning with being ambitious, such as not being a risk taker, then really who are you? Are you ambitious or are you not a risk taker? It requires both to be a successful entrepreneur. All right. So that's all I have for you today. Next week, I'm going to get more specific and go over financial personality types. So tune in next week as I go over financial personality types. I thank you for tuning in. And come back and see me again next Friday at 2 p.m. Don't forget to like and share, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're watching the replay on YouTube. Thank you so much. And as always, stop worrying and start living. Be on Father. See you next Friday.